Hey everyone, this is MusicTechHelpGuy, and welcome to another episode of Free Plugin Weekly. Today I'm checking out the Thump percussive subharmonic synth plugin from Metric Halo. What this does is you can place it on your drum tracks, particularly your kick track, and it'll trigger a low sub sound that you can layer with your kick. So it's great for creating those 808 subtones and things like that. So here's my drum pattern with Thump bypassed. So this is just the stock kick sound. I've got Thump loaded on my kick channel here in my Drum Machine Designer instrument. So I'll turn that on. Let's see what this sounds like. So there I'm really just using it as like a sub-bass reinforcement, but you can do some other really cool things with this. So there's two oscillators that you can trigger. You can mix and blend them here. So this is just oscillator 1 and oscillator 2 pulled down. And I'm going to pull the wet dry all the way over to wet. So you're just hearing the thump play through. And I'm also going to solo out just the kick so you don't hear the other drums in the drum pattern. And then here's oscillator 2. So typically what you can do is you can layer the oscillators an octave apart to get some mid-range focus with the upper oscillator and the low-range focus with the lower oscillator. So this song is in the key of D minor, I believe. Let's check out the bass line. Here it is. Starts on D. So let's make the thump kick drum match the key of D. So D4, I had to look this up on Google. D4 is 293.66 hertz. So an octave lower than that is 146.83, and then an octave below that is 73.415. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make oscillator 1 my low oscillator. So I'm going to set this to 73.415. and it rounds up to 4.2. And then my second oscillator will be my upper oscillator. I'll set this to 146.83. There we go. So I've set those, my lower and upper oscillators. And you can also start an attack frequency. So it can kind of like pitch down from the attack. So I'm going to set these, I'm going to set oscillator 1 an octave higher than its sustained frequency. So that's going to be 146.83, so that's already set. And then oscillator 2 is D4, which is 293.66. So I already set those in advance. Let's see what that sounds like. I'll just solo out the kick drum. So that's not quite subby enough. Let's pull oscillator 2 down an octave, and let's make that, actually let's pull it down 2 octaves. So it'll be at like 36.70, around that area. Yeah, so now we're really down in the sub-frequency range. So the wet dry control over here controls the blend between the original signal and the synthesized signal. So all the way to the left is dry. And all the way to the right is just going to be the synthesized signal. So I want to hear quite a bit of that. You can adjust the output gain, which is just the volume. Obviously, we don't want to clip, so I'll pull that down a little bit. And then there's 2 envelope followers. You have a volume envelope, attack, and sustain. So this is how long it takes for the thump sound to fade in, and this is how long it takes for it to sustain and eventually decay. So let's pull those down, and I'll pull them up so you can. There's a really cool effect you can do with the sustain here. So if you pull that all the way up, it lasts a whole second, and you end up with this really cool sort of like subby bass sound. And then there's also a pitch follower as well. So this will start the pitch higher and then jump down to the sustained pitch. Usually I want the sustained pitch to come in pretty quickly, otherwise you get that sort of pitch bend sort of sound to it. So let's see what this sounds like with all of the drums back in. Now, one other thing you could try doing with this is you could put your kick drums on different tracks and assign different Thump plugins to those different tracks. And what you could do is you could figure out the fundamental frequencies of the different root notes of the different chords in your song. So, for example, like I said, my song's D, but let's say that the chords go from D to B flat to C. What you could do is you could figure out the frequencies of D, B flat, and C, and have 3 different Thump tracks, each with their own sort of like 808 bass sound, and you could make the bass follow the key of the song or follow the chords. All right, so rather than just talk about it, I decided just to demonstrate it. So basically what I've got here is got my hi-hat and clap beat up here. I've got a dry kick signal on this track, so let's see what that sounds like. So pretty basic. And then what I did is I copied down the kick pattern to these other 3 tracks, and on each track I've assigned Thump. And on each one I've gone online on Google and just figured out what the frequencies, some of the frequencies and octaves frequencies are for the notes D, B flat, and F. So this is what this sounds like with all of these in. And I've got all of these set to 100% wet, so you're just hearing the sub frequencies here, the 808 sort of sub sound here, and then the dry signal up here. So that's how you can use Thump for sort of like a moving 808 sub bass or sub kick sound. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. You can also check me out on social media at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and if you want to leave a monthly donation to the channel, you can check me out on Patreon as well. Thanks for the support, and thanks for watching.